Nice.
Hey everyone, today I want to discuss learning wrestling as an adult. So I grew up in East Texas, and unfortunately, high school wrestling is just something you hear about in the movies down there. It's virtually non-existent. I've talked to other people from larger urban areas in other parts of Texas that say they've had it, but small town East Texas, forget about it. That being said, growing up, I always had a pretty strong fascination with grappling. I can remember wrestling or doing what I thought was wrestling or rolling with my friends in the backyard and just being completely fascinated by it. And I can remember by the time they were tired and ready to go back in the house, I was still ready for more. Well, fast forward some years, and after I graduated college, I had more free time and I found Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. And I absolutely fell in love with it from day one. I've never needed motivation to get on the mats. I know there's people all the time talk about, oh yeah, you push yourself, all this and this and this. I've literally never needed to push myself to do it. It's basically like a video game that I'm addicted to. And that right there told me that grappling was definitely my sport. I finally found my sport after all these years of just being mediocre at track and football, etc. But anyway, after I found Jiu-Jitsu, I actually met a couple people from up north and throughout the Midwest that did grow up with wrestling, and I thought to myself, well, didn't quite have that opportunity, but this is the next best thing. Well, fast forward another 6 years into my Jiu-Jitsu career, and between traveling with work and training at different Jiu-Jitsu gyms, I found not just one, but two places that taught wrestling and would also take in adults. So at the ripe old age of 28, I put a pair of wrestling shoes on for the first time ever. I thought to myself, the best day to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best day is today. So started training wrestling, and like I assumed that I would, I absolutely loved it. I'm completely fascinated with it. It's almost like it gave a rebirth to my initial feelings that I had when I first started Jiu-Jitsu. So with that being said, my goals with wrestling are to now get as good as I would have been had I grew up with it. And the way I'm going to be able to determine that is once I'm able to at least stand with and stalemate with someone else my own age that did have it growing up, that'll be a victory in my mind at least. My other little goal that I want to have is I just want to have really, really good takedowns for my jiu-jitsu. My thoughts on starting wrestling as an older person or adult or however you want to put it. A little bit of advice I would give to anyone else in my situation is just don't listen to all the lazy, negative people. There's going to be a lot of these people that go into all this, oh, you can't be good at anything unless you start out as a child, which to me is complete BS because I don't know about you, but I learn things twice as fast as an adult. People are going to tell you, oh, the workouts are so much harder, and yeah, they're definitely harder than jiu-jitsu workouts, but if you have the want, you can do it. If you're a 20 some odd, 30 some odd, or 40 some odd year old man and you think you're a big, big tough guy, but wrestling is too tough for you, just remember teenage girls do this stuff too. So that should be all the motivation you need there. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and I hope this motivates some people. Hey everyone, as you can probably tell, I just got done training some wrestling, and after working up a big sweat, I realized that I forgot to mention probably one of the most important things in my monologue earlier, and that is one of the biggest issues. It might not be motivation. A lot of people, they want to get out there, they're like me, they didn't grow up wrestling, they want to get out there and they train wrestling, but one of the biggest stumbling blocks is actually finding a place to train wrestling at, and that can be a big, hard, difficult thing. So here's a couple of my small pieces of advice to maybe help you out, okay? If you're nearby a big city, especially if you're up north or in the Midwest, they're a dime a dozen. If you're in larger urban areas throughout the South, you may be able to find a place. Don't be afraid to reach out to a place, even if they don't advertise training for adults. Don't be afraid to reach out to them and go, hey man, blah, 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 blah. I like grappling, I want to learn some wrestling. A lot of them can be really welcoming and can really let you in pretty well. Another point is, of course, YouTube is a font of knowledge. Watch as many things as you can. If you're a BJJ dude, maybe you don't have any opportunity to train wrestling, try to, with the lower belts, make them stand up each single time. Get the takedown and then either tap them quick or let them tap you. Keep training stand up. Do whatever you got to do to make progress with that. I'm right here at this really, really cool gym. I've been working in Pennsylvania here recently, and there's wrestlers everywhere. So stay tuned. We're fixing to interview this awesome wrestling coach up here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here at this awesome place called Mat Return Wrestling. And John, I'm just going to let you take it away, man. Tell them about your organization, what you do, what your goals are, and what you're all about.
Yeah, so I'm John. I wrestled in college, Division I, and as soon as I got done wrestling, I quickly realized that there's nowhere else to wrestle. Basically, if you're out of college or out of high school, unless you're trying to make it to the Olympic team, there's pretty much no more wrestling for adults. And some people, are connected to a school and they can help out at a school, but there's only so many coaching positions out there, and some people don't want to commit themselves to coach. So for the last couple of years, since I graduated 6 years ago, I've been really wanting to just experiment to see if there's other people that want to come out and wrestle. Selfishly, I wanted to wrestle, and I'm thinking, we're here in the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania, and there's got to be hundreds of other guys my age or older or younger that are itching to get back on the mat and don't have an opportunity. So I wanted to create an opportunity because, believe it or not, as much wrestling as there is in Pennsylvania, there are not any adult wrestling clubs. So I wanted to just start one myself and see how it goes and see if people are interested.
Well, John, I and probably a lot of my friends in the jiu-jitsu community and a lot of my friends from the rural South that didn't get to grow up wrestling, we definitely want to see you succeed, and we hope that adult wrestling gyms become a thing just as much as BJJ gyms are.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time and everything, and I appreciate you letting me pick your brain. You might not have a top-notch coach like I've got right here for this week while I'm up here working, but get out there, find some wrestlers, and ask them a lot of questions until you're as good as they are. Anything else, John?
No, that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you all. We'll see you next time.
Later.